All right, Saham, can you hear me? Okay, so according to the protocol, please stand up. We will announce the final decision. I'll start with the Arabic part. طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نتيجة الحكم على أطروحة ماجستير في إدارة الأعمال في يوم الأربعاء الموافق 23 من أغسطس 2023 ناقشت اللجنة المكونة من دكتور عز العرب العوور مشرفا ورئيسا، والدكتور إسماعيل أبو سعدة مناقشا خارجيا رسالة الطالب سهم دياب القطامين، وعنوان الرسالة The Impact of Organization Culture on the Employees Well-being Case Study Hotel Sector سعودي أرابيا الإحساء. وبعد المناقشة والمداولة أوصت اللجنة بمنح الطالب درجة الماجستير في إدارة الأعمال، وذلك بعد استيفائه كافة التعديلات على الرسالة والمتطلبات الأكاديمية الخاصة بالبرنامج. وإذ قررت اللجنة منح الطالب درجة الماجستير توصيه بأن يجعل ما تعلمه في خدمة وطنه وأمته. ألف مبارك. انتقل للإنجليش بارت. Final decision on MBA thesis today on Wednesday, 23rd of August 2023. The examination committee consisting of Dr. Azz Al-Arab Al-Awoor as supervisor and chairman, Dr. Ismail Abu Saada as an examiner. The title, The Impact of the Organization Culture on the Employees' Well-being, examined the thesis of the student Saham Diab Al-Qatamin. After discussion and deliberation, the committee recommended granting the student a master's degree in business administration after fulfilling all academic requirements of the program. Congratulations, Saham.
Thank you. Thank you دكتور. Thank you دكتور عز. يعني كان ودنا نسمع صوت الدكتور عز بس يعني للاسف. جد شكرا. Thank you so much.
اوكي. بتكلموا على الخاص ما فيش مشكلة.
اكيد
بإذن الله تعالى.
شكرا.
All right. So congratulations again. Thanks a lot for Dr. Azz Al-Arab for all his efforts in this thesis. And please follow up with Dr. Azz regarding all comments and corrections. All right.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So we will stop for a few minutes just to prepare for the next session with Rana Urabi. Thank you, Saham. Thank you, Dr. Azz, and see you inshallah.
Thank you so much.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. الحمد لله ضبطت.
طيب الحمد.
طيب. يلا. دكتور عز إن شاء الله يكون معنا.
هلا يا رنا. نورت.
تسلمي بوجودك، اشتقنا لك.
أنا أكثر والله حبيبتي.
لا ثواني.
دكتور عز سمعنا؟ أنا شفت إشارة الصوت. دكتور عز.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أخيرا يعني حلت الإشكالية.
أخيرا. نعم. بس الفيديو بعد إذنك يا دكتور، الصورة.
يلا معك.
اوكي. استاذ رنا بعد اذنك جربي الكنترول على البرزنتيشن بس نتاكد انه شغال عندك قبل ما نبدا السيشن.
اوكي شغال.
خلاص تمام. اوكي ارجع بعد اذنك على ايوه الصفحه الاولى. اوكي.
عفوا دكتور، انا بس طابعه كمان البرزنتيشن عندي، راح اقراه من الورق اوضح بالنسبه لي.
ما فيش مشكله. اوكي. So now let's start. First of all, welcome our respected professors and our student Rana here. Please allow me to introduce you in this session. We have here Dr. Nuha Najem as examiner. Dr. Nuha is an assistant professor of economics at Al-Azhar University, majoring in applied economics and related research interest. In addition, she has 17 years of teaching experience at Palestinian universities, and she worked as academic counselor and selection specialist for Academy for Educational Development and Amidist. Dr. Najem is identified as a specialist in grants, impact evaluation, and planning of development projects for several international organizations. Welcome, Dr. Nuha, and we have also the supervisor, Dr. Izz Al-Arab Al-Awoor. Dr. Al-Awoor is an assistant professor, got his PhD from Arab Academy for Science and Technology and Maritime Transport from Egypt in quality management in 2014. His main field of research is quality management in educational sector, especially in higher education. Dr. Al-Awoor has also extensive consultation in management field, yielding a better courses delivery approach. Currently, he is lecturing in business and management fields in different universities. You are welcome here, and I will leave the floor to Dr. Izz Al-Arab to manage the session. Dr. Izz, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Ismail. And I will apologize for the previous corruption in my system. Dr. Ismail, Dr. Nuha, Rana, Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for joining us in this scientific session in order to discuss and defense a scientific research which has been prepared by Rabi entitled The Impact of E-Learning in Career in some Arab regions. According to the protocol and procedures, we will start with the researcher to present a PowerPoint presentation to clarify her scientific research. Rana, you have 20 minutes to present your research, and the microphone is yours now. Go ahead.
Hello, Festival, and I very happy with work under your leader, and thank you for this introduction. I will start. My research name, the impact of e-learning on employee development in the Arab region, Qatar. Brief bibliography for me. My name is Rana Urabi. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration, specialized in finance and investment. In addition to a diploma in accounting, I worked in many or several places in education as a teacher. Also at a private company, many companies, the Ministry of Irrigation, also last in Qatar University, with a total of 21 years of work. Introduction. Considering scientific and technological progress, it was necessary to exploit this progress in education and self-education. And from here, many effects result from this type of education and self-development. And public opinion was divided between acceptance and rejection of this outputs of these types of education. Thus in charge of their work with the negatives and positive of e-learning to produce recommendations that help develop this education so that it becomes acceptable in our Arab society, and the subject of the study was the state of Qatar. Problem statement. It is not always guaranteed the possibility of career advancement in the event of obtaining a higher certificate through e-learning due to the lack of confidence in the outputs of this type of education, especially since most of those who follow this type of education are from the age group that exceeds the real age of study while they are at the head of their work. In a study conducted by Alliance State University on the extent of to which e-learning is accepted in the labor market, 64% of managers, the various fields answered that they prefer to employ traditional degree holders. We can also consider the opinion of specialists and experts in Qatar about their point of view on e-learning, including the specialist in the GAP Research Center at Qatar University and the coordinator and the director of many professional training and development projects in the field of gas, where he said that e-learning needs a lot of oversight and verification of the identity of the provider of materials and research. Many artificial intelligence programs have many artificial intelligence programs that have begun to provide unethical services in the field of research and education at a low price. The equivalency specialized in the Ministry of Education and Higher Education also agreed with him. Qatar's lack of confidence in the outputs of e-learning stems from confidence in the accepted reputation of the university in the field of distance education by evaluating the requirements and outputs of the educational system provided by those universities. Therefore, trust was limited to a few universities. The main idea of the research is to study the effect of obtaining an e-learning certificate on the employee's development while he is on the job. Research objectives and questions. Research objectives, the general objectives of to place a hand on the points that help in the advancement of e-learning, to make it acceptable to government departments and ministries in Qatar and the Arab countries, to make and all countries that refuse to recognize the seriousness of this education and thus help employees on the job promotion and self-education by following e-learning as it is suitable for the employees' seriousness. First one, to examine what is the reason or reason why the state of Qatar doesn't accept the outputs of learning and sets very harsh conditions even for the few accredited universities for learning. Also to explain how can the e-learning process be supported and what controls and additions must universities adopt that follow the e-learning method. Research question. First one, what is the extent of acceptance of e-learning graduates in the labor market and career development compared to graduates of traditional education? Second one, how can the e-learning process be supported and what controls and additions must universities adopt that follow the e-learning method. Hypothesis. E-learning provides a means of academic development for the employee or job seeker, and while it is not accepted as a reliable method, it faces several problems. Therefore, we have the following hypotheses. The advantages of e-learning with visible and reliable controls that will support the process of accepting these graduates into the labor market. Second one, or branch of it, a positive effect on the acceptance of e-learning graduates by decision makers in the research community. Literature review. Sorry, here must to be overview, not define of e-learning, because we already defined definition of e-learning in the introduction part 1, but here must to be overview. I'm sorry, maybe mistake with the copy, I don't know. Second one, what is the reason for the employee resorting to e-learning? The advantages of e-learning for the employee on the job. Disadvantage of e-learning for the employee. The form of e-learning in the Middle East. Obstacles to adopting e-learning in the Middle East. We see here many tables because in general for this subject or for this research, most of research other one spoke about define e-learning or benefit or disadvantage or like this, so that I see if we get the most of one and put them as a literature review, maybe give the other people a good background about our research. Gap research, according to what we have seen in previous studies, most of them deals with the definition of e-learning, its benefit and disadvantages, and the methods of giving it, but there is no study on its non-accreditation and the inability to benefit from obtaining a certificate through this type of education, especially for those in charge of their work. This study came to look at this problem and find solution and controls that drive confidence in e-learning. Methodology. In this research, we followed the qualitative, descriptive method only, as we asked the direct questions to the respondent in collecting data, because most of the questions in the research require the opinion of the people in the question and to speak through their personal experience in this field, especially since the research sample is from the scientific and senior administrative staff in universities and ministries of education. It will be more feasible to open the way for them to express their opinion and give their suggestion without quantitative standard restrictions. Data analysis. The data was analyzed using inferential statistic based on the data collection tool using the descriptive qualitative approach. Ethical consideration. All the research participants included in this study were appropriately informed about the purpose of the research and their willingness and consent were secured before the communiment of distributing questionnaires. The right to privacy of the respondents. They study maintained the confidentiality of the identity of each participant in all cases. Names are kept confidential, thus collective names like respondents were used. Main results and funding. One, emphasis on designing academic educational programs for e-learning that are not derived from traditional education and an attempting to adapt e-learning. Second, emphasis on observing exams with an open camera through the exam period and recording the exam. Third, emphasis on attending lectures with an open camera to know the personality of the student each time. Fourth, conduct individual assessment and interviews for each student during the academic years. Fifth, establishing institutions specialized in following up universities that follow e-learning and mentoring their performance and outputs periodically, as in Saudi Arabia. Also, there are many results in the research, but this one, the spotlight. Discussion and conclusion. Since we found it useful to combine the recommendations with the results because they serve the same purpose and are inseparable from it, we list for you here some results as a conclusion to this research, allowing all graduates of these types of education to prove their ability on the ground, especially those who are the head of their work, because they will not lose by leaving work and going to other parties to improve their financial and functional situation. Benefit from the advantages of e-learning and the development taking place in human life in terms of controlling time, space, and reasonable cost. That's all. I hope you will.
No. Thank you very much, Rana, for your clear presentation to clarify your scientific work in your dissertation. And again, according to the protocol, we will leave the stage to Dr. Noha to discuss and defend this scientific research. Dr. Noha, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Rez. Hello, Rana. How are you?
Hello, Doctor. Fine, thank you.
You did a great job on this study. I can see that you and your supervisor.
Under your care and Dr. Rez's care.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'll just mention some comments, and I have some questions for you, just to enhance your work and to support the idea that you're trying to present here. The topic is very interesting, and it's very well presented here. So just to begin with the title, you've mentioned in the title that you're studying the impact of e-learning. Well, I have a problem with beginning the sentence with the. There are many there's in the article, so please just review that. Okay. So you're studying the impact of e-learning on employee development in Arab region. Well, I didn't see much of the Arab word coverage with regards to e-learning. So I would suggest that in the title you just mention in Qatar, and that's it. So nobody will ask or would notice that the Arab region is not that covered.
Can we give you feedback about that, Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Because not only in Qatar this problem, also like Syria, my country, also same. You cannot use your e-learning graduate or certificate as a specific sector like teaching, like university. You can use it as a development until limit average, not all. We need, because in the research we said why, so that I said in the Arab region. I don't know.
But the example you've just mentioned is not mentioned in the study. So it would be great if you mentioned that because Arab region has many countries. So if you would compare or set some examples on those countries that are doing the same, like Qatar. I know that in Palestine we have the same strategy or the same system with no accreditation to online teaching. So so it would be useful to give examples from the Arab region. So we would, you wouldn't have this weakness in the article, in the studies.
You mean not all, only from?
Yes, or maybe in Qatar, and just mention Qatar. And in your study, you already mentioned Saudi Arabia, UAE, and stuff. And just to stay in the same scope, when you've mentioned Qatar, well, in order to assess the situation in a certain region or in a certain country, we usually compare it to a nearby country. Okay, so I didn't see anything about Bahrain, because I know that Bahrain is pretty close to Qatar, and
also Emirates not affect that. It's okay. It's acceptable.
Okay, so it would be useful to give an example of a nearby country that has the same culture, the same characteristics of the community, and they didn't have any problem with the accreditation of online teaching or considering that system. Just to enhance your idea, because it really needs to be highlighted.
I appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you, dear. Okay. With regards to the part on the religion. You've mentioned something on religion on page 15. So I just didn't get that point. The form of e-learning in the Middle East, that religion imposed the accreditation of e-learning. Can you explain that to me in short, please?
On page 15, Doctor, yeah.
Yes, on page 15, because I saw that it's mentioned twice under moral reasons and religious deterrence.
Yeah. You mean the form of e-learning in the Middle East?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. About moral reasons, you need to explain what means this sector.
No, the next one, that would be more clear. The religious reasons.
Religion determined. Yeah. As I wrote, this system from the nature of the Islamic religion and its connection with moral instructions. Yes. Like in our religion, you're not allowed to go or to know especially for small under adult. They scared to enter to links or website that learn this youngs something opposite of them religion, so that they not allow them to enter whole internet. I know my my relative in Arabia Saudia in South, not allowed to go internet. Why? Her parents. Why? Because she will see something opposite of her religion. It's too much restrict until now.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that in your paper, because it's something we didn't expect to have in our community. So
No.
yeah, that's really interesting. Well, another question, please, about Qatar. Now, considering the whole controlling things that you've mentioned in your paper on your study, how did Qatar manage during the pandemic? It was really, I'm curious to know, how did they manage during that period?
Yes, sure. As all countries in the world, they use online. But after this training, they admit it's not useful. So that they close it for all the main sector for teaching and learning, like preschool, permanent secondary, like this. But they open for now. They open for more education or to bring some skills like this. Not as a main. Not as a main. Also for university. The most of Qatar universities use online only for more programs as training and like this. Also, when I make this research, I went to the many universities here. Their one sector of online learning. But only this one they like it or use it, because they put, you understand, because they like it or admit for it.
Okay. Would you mention what you've just explained to me in the study? Just to clarify this point, because it's not mentioned anywhere that Qatar used already the e-learning, and they have an experience that they assessed, according to you, that they made an assessment or evaluation of their experience during the pandemic, and it's not that good. So
No,
their decision on not taking the e-learning system seriously is that they went through an experience, and they had an assessment of that experience, and according to it, they had some recommendations. So that should be mentioned somewhere in the study. It's just a suggestion for you and for your supervisor. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now you have used interviews as your research method, and please mention that in your data collection methodology. You didn't highlight that you used interviews. Interviews is a very important methodology, and it shows the effort spent by the researcher. So please highlight that methodology that you've used. Give yourself the credit for using it. So it would be appreciated to add it in the abstract that you've used interviews, and it would be great if you introduce those who you interviewed, like an
you
interview.
mean what the way I make interviews?
No, it's your data collection methodology. You didn't do a questionnaire, a normal or a regular questionnaire that you distributed and collected and stuff. So you made interviews with those 8 people, right? You had interaction with them.
Yes, I give the question and he replied. I register what he replied exactly. Not all. Some people refuse because they don't have a time. They told me to send on WhatsApp.
Okay. So you've used interviews, so that's a very appreciated method usually. So please give yourself the credit for that. Highlight using that methodology. Okay. Now, usually collecting or gathering data from 8 persons would not represent the community, right? But if those persons were in certain positions, in leading positions of decision making, that would make them the data collected from those people more reliable, more representative. That's what you should indicate or show in your study, that you didn't just interview random 8 people. Those are people who in decision making positions.
Yes,
so their opinion,
in my research.
Yes, you need to highlight that. Okay. Just to give yourself the credit for doing such an effort, okay? Because I know it's not easy to meet those people, to have interviews or to have feedback from those people in decision-making positions. You did an effort to do that.
Okay, so I will highlight this one.
The credit for that, yeah. Okay. Now, I had a problem with your introduction. In some parts, I found that you jumped to a different part, but without any link or an introduction. Like, for example, the one on the questionnaire ratio validity, the validity test. It's on page.
Excuse me, which page? Introduction, first one, page 6.
Just a second, please. I think it's probably the ratio. Yeah, it's on page 20.
Page 20.
Yes, the validity rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I found it in front of me without any introduction, without any explanation of what the validity test is, or why do we need to have this
yeah,
ratio.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, doctor,
that
you're
would
right.
be useful if you just give us an introduction about it. Just 2 words. Why you're
I thought
yeah.
if I put this compare, it will be okay. I'm sorry.
It's very useful, but you need to give us like an introduction why you're giving us this rate and your comments.
Yeah.
What does this 0.6 indicate?
Yeah, doctor. Yeah,
Okay.
I will do.
Again, it's just to enhance your work.
Yeah, doctor, you are right.
Okay. Let's see if I missed anything. You will find some comments on the language and the citation. I would be more than happy to help you with anything if you need. But again, thank you for this very, very useful study, and I wish you all the best in the future. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, doctor. I appreciate too much to your words.
Sure. Thank you.
Support words, really.
Okay. Dr. Noha, thank you very much for your valuable discussion and defense of the dissertation. And I'm asking Rana to strongly consider Dr. Noha's minor corrections in order to enhance her research and perform it as soon as possible to accomplish her scientific work. Now we will leave the stage for 10 minutes to judge the dissertation, and we will back again within 10 minutes, inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. السلام عليكم. Rana, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. اوكي الان حننطق ان شاء الله بحكم لجنه التحكيم طبعا على الديزرتيشن او الرساله المقدمه من الطالبه رنا على اطروحه الماجستير في اداره الاعمال. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نتيجه الحكم على اطروحه ماجستير اداره الاعمال، وانه وفي يوم الاربعاء الموافق 23/8/2023 ناقشت اللجنه المكونه من دكتور عز العرب العوور كمشرف وكرئيس للجلسة، دكتور نهى نجم كمناقش، الطالبة رنا محمد عرابي ورسالتها أو عنوان رسالتها The Impact of E-Learning on Career Development in some Arab Regions. وبعد المناقشة والمداولة أوصت اللجنة بمنح الطالب درجة الماجستير في إدارة الأعمال، وذلك بعد استيفائه لكافة التعديلات على الرسالة والمتطلبات الأكاديمية الخاصة بالبرنامج. وإذ قررت اللجنة منح الطالب درجة الماجستير توصيه بأن يجعل ما تعلمه في خدمة وطنه وأمته.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور.
Final decision on MBA thesis today on Wednesday 23/8/2023. The examination committee consisting of Dr. Izz Al-Arab Al-Awoor as a supervisor and chairman, Dr. Nuha Nijm as an examiner, titled The Impact of E-Learning on Career Development in some Arab Region, examined the thesis of student Rana Muhammad Urabi. After discussion and deliberation, the committee recommended granting the student master's degree in business administration after fulfilling the academic requirements of the programs. Congrats, Rana. Alf Mubarak.
شكرا جزيلا. شكرا جزيلا.
طيب أنا أشكر طبعا thank you for the committee, دكتور نهى، دكتور إسماعيل، على عملية الإشراف الكامل على المناقشة. Thank you very much. My high appreciation for your kind efforts in order to success this scientific session today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for all leaders, and thank you and appreciate for your
congratulations, Rana.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm appreciate to your words, support words. Thank you. I'm hope to
for all your efforts. And now this is the last defense in this session, and we will return back at 6 o'clock for the next defense session, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you.